Welcome, one and all. This is Steve Bradshaw. If you don't know me, I'm also known as Brad Monk, and I basically have travelled the country sharing my insights and helping people on their spiritual journey. So today's subject is why you should stop watching the news. Very important for empaths, because let's give it to you straight away. I'm not going to mess about. Empaths are in touch with their senses. They're in touch with the world. And so when we get news, we basically start to attach to those feelings, those injustices, all the stuff that really gets to us and ignites in us our own blockages and traumas, and then we start to feel it, and then we start to attach to people and want to help them, and it's part of our nature. But the one thing people don't understand about is, and that's what I'm going to give you at the end, is a little trick to what the news is actually doing to you and why you are so affected. All right? An empath is basically a person that is sensitive. All right? So you can walk into a room and you can feel if that room's got good energy to it or bad energy to it. Now, what people don't understand is we also have our 5 traumas in the body, if you've not sort of like worked on them, and that's our part to play. So if, say, for example, you have a throat condition, it's often the case that maybe speaking your truth or speaking out, you were injured in a past life. Some people were stabbed, some people were hanged. So they have a trauma attached, and the body is like, no, don't do that. Don't put me through that again. And so it's frightened. And so the body's always giving the brain things to do because it knows that it's got to survive. That's why a lot of empaths go into what we call the warrior mode. They're being triggered. Yeah? You're being triggered to go into a mode where you're not using your senses. You're not using your compassion. You can't understand the situation because you're in full on, get rid of this overload of negativity, sort it out without even knowing the big picture or understanding why everything has happened. And that's why that you need your intuition, you need your connection to the soul who's guiding you on your path. Because you're in that mode that's going to just be all out attack. It's a survival mode. That's why we have the ego part of us. It basically gives us the strength to go through brick walls where, you know, we haven't got time to think about the consequences of going through brick walls, or the who we might hurt when we go through the brick wall, or who will be affected by it. And so the ego is just as important, but it also can cause a lot of harm to those who are empaths. Because then we get judgmental of ourselves. We start to really worry about if we're not right, if we're not fitting in, if we're not going to be able to play a part, if we're not going to be of service, if we're not going to do all the things that empaths do very well. You know, when somebody's lying to you, you can deep down know that they're not quite right, and they just need a little bit of support and love, or they need your energy to be able to connect to their higher self and their soul for this situation to get their own answers. And this leads me to why the news is really affecting us. It's because the news is basically 3/4 of it is lies. And what's the one thing that the empaths can see or work out is that it's lies. But because they're triggered, they're not recognizing that they're lies. And so they get caught up here because their injustice, their warrior side of them starts to really affect them. I'm not saying don't watch the news, but get yourself into a state of connection and your senses and cleanse so that you're not absorbing the negativity from the news that's triggering you and all your people that you're connected to then start to do the warrior mode, the injustice mode, the overloading of negativity. So it's so important that we be careful with the news because, you know, it's great that we might go, oh, yeah, did you see that on the news? Da, 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 da. But what you're doing is you're feeding into the society of lies and illusions, which will then come back on you yourself, because then that's what you're vibrating. You're vibrating these inner parts of you that are struggling to deal with it or don't understand what it is that you're feeling at this time. And then often in protection, you close down these senses. So then you're unable to release the overload of negativity. And this is why you're being triggered all the time. That's why empaths are struggling, because 24 hours a day, instead of the unconditional love, the cleansing in nature, the meditations, all the beautiful things that keep us balanced and keep us one with ourselves, and like I said last night, it's about the magic that we become a part of when we connect. We lose all that. I mean, the whole world at the moment is stopping us from connecting to each other properly. And that is causing major problems with us to learn our lessons, to experience life, to enjoy life, and let go of all the stuff that's stopping us. I have a meditation that will really help you. Mind, body, and soul alignment, cuts the times, cleanses you in nature, gets rid of the overload of negativity, and also gets you connected with a new vibration. So you're attracting good things into your life and good moments into your life, which is what we need, because you're here to be of service. You're here to share an experience to help us all on our journeys. And so it's so important that you can get out of bed in the morning. So you've got to take that time out to meditate and get yourself right, or just cleanse in nature, so that you can keep playing your part.